that's one of the reason why I would love to talk about not just my journey. I will also share what I'm doing the past 9 years, basically 10 years in network marketing. Because one thing which is really important for me, what changed my business, that I never stopped recruiting. There was not even 1 year in my network marketing career where I was not recruiting. Even I had people in my team who didn't succeed or didn't achieve their facet bonuses, quit after a couple of days. But the main thing for me was always recruiting by myself. So I have more control over my business. So back to my story. So I'm originally from Austria, Vienna. I'm born there. My roots are from Pakistan. So I'm coming from a traditional Pakistani family where there was no one who really teach that how to be successful, what is personal development, what it means to do more for yourself, what it means to love yourself first. So it was, we always got taught it's really important to respect the elders, to work 9 to 5, to have more jobs so we can provide the family. So when I started working as a pharmacist for 9 years, I realized in that time I was 30,000 in debt because I was in a toxic environment by a person, and this person didn't allow me to talk to other people. I was not allowed to be on social media or have any friends. So my debt was going up because someone else had the control. So I was in a really dark moment, and I hope you guys can hear me because the Wi-Fi in Greece is special. So yeah, so when there was a time in my life where I was so broken, I didn't have the capacity to buy myself lunch in the pharmacy. And I was in a moment where I was like, I'm not happy with myself. I had hormonal issues, so I was ill. I was overweight. I was not happy with myself. I was not confident. I was experiencing physical and emotional pain. I was in debt. So I was like, what is left? There is nothing what I could say about myself that makes me happy. But I realized that the decision I took lead me to where I am today. So it was not about the other people, it was about how I see myself, and I was not respecting myself. Otherwise, I wouldn't take those decisions. So I realized I had to take different decisions if I want to be happy. Then I had two options: either be in a victim environment and be unhappy, cry every night, see how many bills I have, or I will go and make a change. And I believe if you pray, if you believe in something different, if you want a change, you will get lead to it. And what happened the next day? Fabian Zierhut, who's a black ambassador in Zinzino, he was working in a pharmaceutical company and he came into the pharmacy. He saw me and he saw the way I was leading my team. And I was just a pharmacist and I was leading my boss. And that's where he asked me, hey, I'm expanding a business and I'm looking for a key person. And the way you work is amazing. Are you open for new projects? And I was 24 at that time. I was super scared, but I was like, I want to listen to it. Maybe it's something I can identify, and if not, it's one experience more. So we met, he introduced me to the business, and I was super excited, but I was scared. I told him I want to figure out if that's a pyramid scheme or not, if that's legal, because it sounds too good to be true. So I got all the information and we started. I had my last money on my credit card, so I bought the package. And the first onboarding we had was he asked me, hey, make a list of 100 people. And I told him I don't have any people. I only have 9 people in my phone, and that's my family because I wasn't allowed to talk to other people. And he said, okay, that's okay, but you have only one option. You need to go out and talk to people on the street. Because at that time, social media was not that advanced. We didn't have the information we have today how to recruit people on social media. The only information he had was how to talk to people on the street. And with my low self-confidence, with the way I was looking, but I had one thing what no one took from me. I was hungry. I was hungry to change. So I went out every day for 2.5 years on the street, on Starbucks, at an H&M, and the only thing what I did was, hey, I want to buy something. Can you recommend me something? Yeah, I can recommend you this, this, this. Really, thank you, Tina. No, thank you. Can you tell me your name? Yeah, my name is Tina. Okay, thank you so much because there are not a lot of salesperson who really take the time to explain it in that details. So I went out, wrote in my notebook, Tina, H&M, black dress. Next day, I called at the H&M and I said, hey, Tina, I don't know if you remember me. We met yesterday. So that's how I started approaching people because I didn't have the confidence to just go on the street and say, hey, nice bag, where is it from? And then just start a conversation. That came later. But I built my whole business for the first 4 years on the street. And I had three times the thing where my team was broken down because I didn't have the leadership skills to lead a team. I knew at the point how to recruit people, so my team was growing, but I couldn't lead them. And that's also something which is really important. You need to work on your skills, especially if you want to lead a team. And if you don't have the skills yet, use your mentor, use your sponsor so you can develop those skills. And if you're good in recruiting, work as a team because that's the best thing what can happen. And if you're scared in recruiting, do it together. But don't tell me that you can't recruit because that's not possible. If you believe that you have 1% chance to develop those skills, then work on it because that's the only chance you have. That's the only responsibility you have because our business grows when we talk to people. And the more people you reach, the more people will talk about, hey, Annika is doing that business. She told me about she's working with a blood test where she can measure with 2 drops of blood the concentration of the kids. And I thought about the school is just about to start. I need to know if my kid is in a good position, is in balance, because that will help in the school. And I thought about you, Tina, because you have a kid as well. Should I connect you guys? So that's how my business started to grow. Every person I met knew exactly what I'm doing, but I was not talking the Zinzino language. I was talking their language. You need to talk about the business the way you're talking to a kid, because that's the reason your mouth to mouth business is growing. If you're explaining with the Salmon brand fluidity, no one talks like that. So you need to keep that business simple so people go out and say, hey, I met Victor and you need to do the test because you just told me about your eczema and he told me about silent inflammation. And I feel a connection. That's how your business starts to grow. And I was often in a position where I felt like I'm not good enough because I've seen a lot of people on stage. I started to compare myself to them. I always wanted to be fast. I always wanted to be better, which is not a bad thing. But the only thing was I was sabotaging myself because I was not focusing on how can I be better. I was only comparing myself with, oh my God, they are ranking up. They're doing it faster than me. How can they do it? How can they talk so easily? I want to do it as well. Instead, I went there and asked, hey, can you recommend me a book? Because would love to talk like you. Can you tell me how did you develop those skills? Because I love the way you explain it. So that's how you develop your skills by getting the information you need and start working on it and then implementing it. I don't want you to work on only one muscle where you only do all the coachings, but you never go out and recruit because then you will never learn. And that's how I started growing my business. And my main thing was bringing people into the business and using Fabian's skills in his leadership. And when I had a small team, I told him, give me some tasks how I can develop my leadership skills. And he told me, you will explain them how to do the fast start bonuses because that's the base in our business. And if you don't develop a system where everyone duplicates themselves, you will always have an active income, and that's a job. And I'm not joining Zinzino because I want a second job. I want passive income. And that means you need to work on a system which duplicates. And duplicate means that the person A, I told about yeah, when I started building that business, it was so important for me to also work. So every rank we reach in Zinzino, we need to have certain skills. especially when it comes to the rank executive. As an executive, you have a small team already, so you need to have the information how you can start a newest partner. That means how to register the new partner, tell them about the auto order, but also talk about the fasted bonuses and what benefits they have out of it. Because that's why network marketing works, because we have a system. We have a system like McDonald's. That's why McDonald's is so successful. Even we know it's not healthy, but think about the cheeseburgers, all the burgers, the price, they look the same because they have a proven system. And that's the reason why my team is, or many teams in Zinzino are so successful because they have a proven system. They don't have a system for different people. Each person knows exactly if you want to succeed in that business, but you love to earn €1,000, 1,500, and you want to do it through the customer, then do it. Really important to have the 25 customers so you can get the package back. So that means the social proof is growing because they can see, 25 kids and I get the money back in a year. Imagine people who have a strong customer base can tell about that story. They got the 10,000 euro bonus. They are top team. They get the money back, what they invested. Imagine what system they can create, or people who wants to build a business. So there are so many benefits when it comes to our system, and you need to know exactly how to work that system. So that was so kind of my story, how I started. And in between, I had a lot of obstacles. Even a year ago, I had a surgery. I had a tumor for 10 years, and I wasn't able to work for 8 months. So I was out of the business. And what happened when I came back after 8 months? I had 8,000 team customers more, and I did a double rank up. And that didn't happen because I did a good job. We created a system which duplicated long term to a business where we created independent leaders who know exactly how to duplicate that one system. And that's the reason why Zinzino is an amazing opportunity to grow that business and be successful and have a really good passive income. And back to the recruiting part, I want to give you some tips, what I used, what was really beneficial for me. So I hope you take notes because that could change basically your whole business because it's really important. I get a lot of question how I'm working as a full-time networker and still bring new people into the team, or how do I stay motivated even if I get rejections. And trust me, I have the same experience like someone who's new. The only difference is I have more experience. I can talk maybe better when it comes to objections, but I don't take rejections personally anymore because it has nothing to do with me. And it's not about how I do it, it's about what the other person gets out of it and how they can apply it themselves. Because most of the time you talk a lot about me, 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 me. Who cares about what you like about the business? It's about what the person what the person can get out of that business. So over the years, I've learned that three things that always makes a huge difference when it comes to recruiting. And that's finding the right people, the right framing, and the right messaging. And if you master those three, you will experience more ease, more resonance, and better results. And let's talk about when it comes to right people. Most of the people make the mistake of talking to everyone. And I love that because if you go into quantity long term, you will create quality in your business. So means you need to talk to everyone. The only thing is what people make the mistake is when they talk to neighbors, colleagues, family members who are negative, they think that everyone is like that. And then they wonder why nothing is happening. So if you talk to a lot of people, you also need to analyze if a certain amount of group has say no for a lot of time. For example, if I talk to 25 beauticians and all of them say no, it has nothing to do with them. I need to figure out what can I improve. Maybe the way I approach is not good enough. Maybe the way I explain the business is maybe too complicated. Or maybe I'm not talking about their needs. So instead of asking yourself, who, how many people I can talk to, figure out if you talk to a lot of people, who do I really want to attract? And that's people who are open to something new. That's people who are looking for solutions, and that's people who are ready to take responsibility for their health and their future. So, how can you find those people? Basically, it's everyone. But the thing is, you need to ask the right questions so you can figure out what are the issue, what are the pain points. We only have four. We have time, we have money, we have environment, and we have safety. And we need to figure out what is the reason they are sitting here in the meeting. Because trust me, if someone is sitting in the meeting, they're not sitting there because they want to talk to you. There is a reason why they said yes. So you don't need quantity, you need depth long term. So I want you, your first exercise is I want you to write down three qualities how your ideal partner should be. And then I want you to figure out where can I find those people and what are their needs? What are the main issue and how can I solve it with my business? And how can I approach them? Because that will help you a lot. I always prepared myself before I started talking to people. Because if they ask me, what is the benefit for me in that business, and I have no answer, that means I didn't took the time for my own business to figure out what are the real benefits on working with me. So I don't want to hear excuses. Why isn't it working? Because if I ask you a question, what are the benefits of working in your team, and you can't answer that, then that doesn't have to do anything with Zinzino or network marketing. It's you don't take the time because it's not important for you. So you really need to study your own business, your own skills, and what do you bring to the table. And that's why it's important to work with your sponsor because he's more experienced. And when you listen how he answered, you start taking notes. Let's talk about point number two, the right framing. And framing means how do I present my message so the other person not only understands it, but also feels the meaning behind it. That makes a huge difference. If you talk to someone and say, hey, Victor, you just told me about your kids that you want to um, earn more money because they need education. What will it mean to you if you can provide them the education they need in 6 months by working 5 hours per week on the side with me together? And long term, after 6 months, you can go down with the hours in your current job and have more time with your kids. How does it feel for you? So, we need to create a picture because people react to trigger words. Um, Tests, products, network marketing are often the wrong things to trigger people because your job is to reframe those words. And I will give you examples what are most people are doing wrong. For example, I see a lot of time on social media. We have premium products. Seriously, who cares about it? What if I say you can literally see what's happening inside your body and measure how your cells improve over time? That's something which is interesting for me. Not that we have premium products. Or let's another example. Yeah, it's a test where we measure fatty acids. Okay, but I can measure fatty acids at my doctor's as well. What if you tell them it's a mirror of your cells, showing if your body is truly absorbing what you eat on daily basis? Do you see the difference? Let's talk about the balance oil. What is the balance oil? Yeah, it's an omega-3 oil. Okay, so nothing special. What if you could say it's like a key that unlocks your cells so nutrients can finally reach where they are needed? So I want you to create a feeling in the people so they can understand, oh my God, I need that product. But let's do some example when it comes to the business. What is Zinzino basically? Why should I join? Yeah, you can make money here. Do you really think that that's sexy for someone to hear? You can make money here? No. But if you can say you can build an income that's not tied to your working hours, what would that mean to you? Really? How does it work? This is network marketing, not sexy. What if you said this is a modern form of entrepreneurship? No boss, no employees, and no risk. What if people say, hey, it's a pyramid scheme? People start defending themselves. It's not a pyramid scheme. No, explain it to them. Pyramid schemes are illegal. We work in a regulated industry with over 100 years of history and billions in revenue. What we do is a modern form of direct sales, and you get rewarded for recommending, not for buying. And that's the difference between entrepreneurship because people needs to buy a lot of stuff. We have an online shop. So there are a lot of things where I can see that people don't really listen to the people what they really need. If someone is telling me I don't have time for that. And because you don't have much time, you need a business model that works flexible around your daily life. That's the reason I called you. Or how long do you want to be in a position where you don't have time for yourself? So create that feeling for the people like a picture so they can understand, okay, it's not just a side hustle, it's an opportunity for them to really change their life. And that's the second task what I want to give to you guys. I want you to make every day some breakout session where you work with those phrases. I want you to talk about what you're using in your business right now, and the other person needs to tell you if it sounds nice, if he can identify to it, if he feels something, if you tell that sentence. If it's not, reframe it because you need to know exactly how to talk because that's something which needs to be implemented in the system so everyone can duplicate it. If I start a new partner, we have an education platform we use in Zeno everything, but what I do is I work one-to-one with you because I want you to know exactly how to explain the xenobiotic, what are the benefits, how to explain the business in two sentences because that's the only job you have in the beginning. You don't have to do the presentation because that's my responsibility. But with time, I will give you more tasks because you want to rank up, right? That means different responsibilities. Let's talk about the last step, the right messaging. Because as you can see, words are energy. Your language decides whether someone feels understood or they feel ignored. Because most of the time they say, I love the business because this, I, and he said, oh, congrats, I'm happy for you. Because people don't join because of your goals. They join because they feel this person gets me. This person really understands me. So speak to their desires, not your targets. Use language that paints picture and be clear, direct, and a human. Don't be a salesperson. Listen to them, but be clear because sometimes people need that clarity so they can wake up. If someone is telling me our products are premium, that's not a benefit. But if you say, imagine, Victor, you're waking up with more energy, clearer skin, and a sharper mind because you just told me that how much you're suffering. Imagine you're waking up and you look better, you feel better. How does it feel? Yeah, I would love that. Then let's figure out first if you really need us. Let's do the test first. So I want you to do that role play because that's really important because if you master that, trust me, you can talk to anyone outside because clarity creates safety and empty phrase, trust me, only creates doubt and then you get nervous. So always try to choose clarity because that's our only job. Our job is bring clarity to the people, not selling anything. Because if they understood our business, if they understood our system, if they understood our concept, they will sign up. So, what did we talk about today? The right people, otherwise you waste your energy. So talk to a lot of people so you get more experience. But if you talk to a lot of people in a week, I want you to take one day to analyze what happened the past 6 days. How many people did I talk to? What were the answers? Who said no? Why did they say no? What could I do better? Or what really worked? How can I improve myself? I want you to analyze your business every single week so you can get really better, because otherwise you get frustrated and you stop working. And that's not fair to yourself. Then I want you to use the right framing. And you know how can you learn it? Just do role play. I would tell you, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm working 24/7. I have 3 companies. Pitch me. And that's your job to sell me that business. And we will do it as long as it takes till you master it. Because then you're so confident that anyone can come and you will know exactly what you bring to the table. And then the right messaging, because we know people buy facts. They don't buy the meeting or the meaning out of one premium product. Words are energy, because that's create resonance and that's create pictures. And when it comes to success, it doesn't happen overnight, but it happens with time, with experience, but also with putting your ego on the side and just asking for help. I'm not in that position because I did everything by myself. I was copying a lot of people. The moment I saw Hilde on stage, I told myself, I want to reach people like her. I can't talk like her, but we have one thing in common. We are reaching people. And that was my goal. My goal was not copying every word she's saying, but the message, how she delivers it, is she's creating pictures. She's creating hope. And that's what our job is. We are giving people hope. But you need to start with yourself first. So ask yourself, why did you decide to start with that business? What were the benefit for you? What has changed? And I can tell you, if you're disciplined enough to take time to master your business, to work on those skills, and I'm not talking about every skills you need to know. Work on one skill you want to develop, which can transform your business. And that 1% can change everything, because you need to do it on a daily basis. People take a lot of gap in between and then they start from zero. You need to do it every day, even if you have 5 minutes, I don't care. But you need to go out and talk to someone, even if it's your neighbor. But everyone needs to know about your business. Not everyone will fit in your team. And that's the good thing about network marketing, because you can choose who you want to bring into the team. But your responsibility is to talk to everyone, because we don't know if that person is sitting at home and asking ChatGPT, how can I earn 500 euro on the side? But if I talk about how I can help people create passive income, that person will say, hey, I'm looking for it. Can you tell me more about it? And that's because I talked about it. So that's basically what I'm doing since years. I learned a lot on understanding that it's 95% the other person and 5% business. So if you ask them the right question, and it only always two reasons why people start. It's either their family or their job. And we need to figure out in those 50 minutes conversation we have before we do a presentation, what is Tina's job? How's the family situation? Is she happy? How many hours is she working? What is she earning? Why did she say yes to the meeting? What is her dream? Was it always her dream to work as a salesperson? So we really need to ask questions like a kid. So you have a picture of her life, and then you ask her, what would it mean for you if you can earn that 4,000 euros in the next 12 months? by only investing the 10 hours you just mentioned me that you have to work on a side business? What would it mean for you? Then let's talk, let's give them the time to talk about their dream. Let's give them the time to create their own picture. And then I will say, that sounds really amazing. And you know what? Now let me show you how I will help you to create those 4,000 euros in 12 months. And then I will do a diamond plan. So in those 15 minutes, I've already got 3 yeses. I close that person basically, and then I start the presentation. And in the presentation, I will include his dream. You just told me that you know a lot of people who ask you a lot about health advice. Imagine what would it means for your people if you can measure it with 2 drops of blood instead of always investing a lot of time to figure out what they have. Imagine 2 drops of blood is giving you the answer if their cells are capable to get the nutrients or not, if silent inflammation are inside or not. How much would it influence your environment? Yeah, a lot. So include them in the presentation so they can feel seen and say, hey, I can do that. It's not that difficult. And when I do an offline presentation, I have people here, I ask them, I talk about my story and then I measure if then I'm mentioning the 4 pain points: time, money, environment, safety. And I tell them, let's be honest here. Who's here for more money? Who's here for more time? Who wants more safety? Who's looking for a new environment? And with that question, you can also do that in an online presentation. You can basically figure out what target group you have in your room. And then you can always go more in that presentation where you can find those pain points. So it's really important to really understand what our business is bringing to the table. Zinzino has developed a lot. I started 2016. The products were looking totally different. The brochure, everything. We didn't have what we have today, the modern technology. But we had one thing in our mind. We believe in that company. We believe in their vision. That's why I stick to that company and I will be there for the next 50, 60 years because I know exactly the company will go without me anyway. But I want to be a part of it with 1 million customers in my team. And I want, especially in the DACH region, people to know who I am. And if they want to join Zinzino, I want them to mention my name or my name for my team. And ask yourself, where do you see yourself in that business? Because you can't tell me you're doing it for your family because you have suffered, you have fought yourself for so many years for your family. But you know exactly if you're not in a position where you're healthy, where you are not happy, where you can't wake up with a clear mind, how can you take care of your family? So it means you need to do that business for yourself first. How can this business change myself? How can it improve myself? Because if you feel good, you can influence other people. That's why I started to look at myself first and then my family. Because if I'm not good, I can't help them. So ask yourself, take a decision. We have 200% ECP. Imagine for every new partner you are signing up or your team, for every new customer you're signing up or your team, you get 1/3 of credits on top for free. We have amazing campaigns with a new partner who signs up 6 partners and the 10 subscriptions that gets up to 1,200 euros with the bonuses, gets the 400 bonus of the executive bonus. And imagine what social proof that means if your newest partners go out and tell them, hey, I earned up to 2,000 euros in my first month in Zinzino. What will it change in your business? Our responsibility is to create social proof, but we can only do that if we stick to one system. So that was basically my story. I hope it helped you guys. If you have any question, you can answer, you can just ask me that, or you can unmute yourself because the Wi-Fi is going good, so I can talk. So if you have any question, please ask me because I want you to succeed. I would love to see you happy, fulfilled, and healthy. So ask me anything you want.
Thank you, Zinab. I will tell honestly, it was for sure, honestly, one of the best speeches that I have heard during my 14 years in Zeno. Thank you, now. Amazing. We love you. Super.
It was truly amazing. So anybody, okay, you all you get is love, no questions, I can say.
And I hope I see you guys at the annual event. Please take the chance to be there because it changed me. I didn't go there just to listen to all of the people. I was looking for that one person who can deliver one message, even if it's just one word, which can transform my brain. And the first event, it was Hilde. Then there were a lot of different speakers every year. So I always go there with an open mind. I listen to everyone, but there's only one person always who catches me, who changed something in me, and that's what I'm looking for. So please go there because you never know. Because I can tell you, environment makes a huge difference. And imagine you are in an environment for 2 to 3 people with people who are not normal. We are not normal. That's why we are in Zinzino. And imagine you're there for 3 days and people are totally talking differently, and that can influence your brain instead of listening to people who are always negative. It's your chance, it's your life, it's your business. Take ownership and make something out of it because if you don't do it, someone else will take those contacts. And I've been in this situation so many times where I wanted to recruit someone, I was not brave enough, and someone else recruited that person. So don't make the same mistake like I did. But I wish you all the best. I send you all my love, and I can't wait to see each one of you on stage sharing your story and impacting other people. Thank you so much for having me, and see you soon in Oslo.